America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him, the foot.
All right, welcome back. Special edition, Tuesday edition of Lucius Live, the least watched podcast live stream out there, and I guess the Comicsgate universe of sorts. I haven't ever officially signed up for anything, registered, for the Comicsgate party or whatever, but I've thrown my lot in where I believe it matters. But yeah, I'll be busy tomorrow night, so I just figured I'd do this. And I guess it's topical. I kind of hit up on this video last week. I'll share a screen here where your boy Zach went on a 40-minute tirade. Well, not tirade. Stream of consciousness, I would guess you call it. Stream of consciousness stream or video take that he does. And I thought he kind of pulled a false analysis out of his own data here. I kind of froze it. I don't plan on watching this whole thing or anything, but I kind of wanted to just look at what projects he had fulfilled and just where they're at. And so it looks like the main point of contention here is Jawbreaker's Grand Bazaar, which is 18 months past due. And he's shooting for April 2022, or is that just he just updated it month by month? The others seem to have these dates in mind. June for Rock and Roll Ninja, Knife Hand is for May. I guess he's planning on actually getting it done or getting it at a stage of completion that it's close to being done this month. There's about 20 days left on the clock here. So best of luck, but it's kind of been, as far as I've seen from updates and stuff, not really all that well updated, but it's the most overdue. Expendables Go to Hell. Both of these kind of launched around the same time, same year, and other stuff was finished well in advance. You look at the Pandemic book. What was the other one? Ballad of No. I'm not sure where that one's at here. Oh, Do As You Told. Both of these pretty much launched same month, completed a couple months down the line. I was actually there's a surprise with his campaigns on how fast he's able to turn them around. God King was another one that backing it, and then having the campaign end and getting the book. It was really, really fast. There's a number of these campaigns where you see people getting them, and I'm stuck in this state of limbo. Okay, it's been a month. Are these still being sent out? Should I contact them? Whatever. I think there should be. It's so cliche to say it, an improvement in communication, but just an open-ended thing, or some way of checking in on your contribution as it goes, just to see where the hell things are at and making sure that it wasn't lost in the mail. I'm not sure how many of these campaigns bother with tracking. They really should. Just would just set so many minds at ease, just having that in there. I think it would be worth the investment just for the saving of you having to find out where the hell everything is. Because people leave their questions in YouTube comments, they leave it in the campaign comments, or they just email you out of the blue. Usually you should have a dedicated communication line towards these things. And it's just you're getting hit from all different angles. And you might have the same person hit you up 3 separate times just because they're in a state of urgency. Maybe they're going to move. Who knows? But yeah, the longer anything's left in limbo, I feel it's just it's bad in so many ways. I mean, it's almost obvious how many ways it goes bad. Your production costs at this point, look at the inflation rate and everything. They're probably gone through the roof. How many people are really budgeted out to make that sort of adjustment now? I kind of wonder. There's new taxes put in place. You have a whole new I think the majority of all the buyers are being the United States. So you have a whole new system if you're overseas on VAT taxes or whatever else, how they consider it. No one's really caring about the legalities of this all. You're talking about somebody who clocks in, clocks out, doesn't give a shit. about your thing. They're just going to see it and judge it. There's no like court of appeals or anything like that. And bad word of mouth is like the worst thing for any of these campaigns. So if somebody doesn't get their book, then that's kind of that. You're kind of at a loss. But most of these campaigns, I mean, hit at least 6 months out, and they're expected to be completed. There's two outstanding ones. I think Expendables Go to Hell was kind of his first cardinal sin. This is where I noticed, so June 2020, this is where Zack being there to promote his books or invest in the promotion, the launch of these, kind of disappeared. I'd say it's the thing he's the most guilty of, if we're going to cast our stones here. It's just like your launch day is one of your big profit days, and your closing day is one of your big profit days. And if you do the whole expansion, past your first 30 days, that will kind of give you sort of this false sense of that, or the doubling up of that effect. So it sort of reinvigorates it and gives it like a strong halfway point on a campaign. But yeah, I don't think there's anyone from the creative team to be seen when that launched. And it's just ironic because it's one of the things he's actually really excited about. He was put in charge of kind of the campaign management in general. So it was kind of like, wow, that's a big faux pas, in my opinion. Like you kind of missed the mark greatly on that. But I was kind of looking through the comments here, and there was a number of like takeaways that I feel like were just kind of maybe a bad interpretation. I kind of got the sense from what he was saying here is that a lot of people loved Expendables Go to Hell. And for some reason he thought, oh, it just because you get it early doesn't mean it's going to be received well. There's an entirely different dynamic to the Expendables Go to Hell. This is like a major established franchise. You had autographed copies by Sly Stallone you're selling. You had a A-list team of like talent doing variant covers, the interiors, and the writing of the book. Like you just had the blend of really a A-list project that was behind that. So yeah, people are dying to get it. I guess in terms of campaign projects, 16 months, while that's bad, a lot better than a number of other ones that have been put out there that are still in waiting, from years ago. So still got done, number of delays, number of processes going on. There's other sins I think he does in terms of his campaign that we'll get into. But there's some people who took this as like an excuse for late projects. I don't think he's necessarily cutting himself that slack. He's basically putting out new projects as he goes because he's waiting for art to come in, or he's completely redone some of these projects, and that's why they've been delayed. But a number of them were just like, okay, well, I have this idea ready to go. The artist is ready to go. Can be done in 3 months. I'll finish it out. A lot of these have been fulfilled, and that's a testament, I think, to his ability. I'm not doubting getting any of these things, but I do get a sense that like his commitment to it is wavering. It's not strong as a priority as Jawbreaker's Lost Souls was and getting it done, or Iron Sights was getting it done. And there's a number of processes that they have to go through. I don't think Iron Sights was the same kind of investment in production as Jawbreaker's Lost Souls was. Although they're both good books, it's just that it's different levels that you need to do. You add colors, or you're adding multiple creative talents onto it. It's like every extra step into that is another complication, another way that it can get delayed in the process of it. So yeah, this kind of came up along with like he sort of had follow-ups to this, basically reiterating that a campaign is not the same as a storefront, an Amazon front, product page, everything else. Oh, Gargoyle, sorry, I didn't see you here, bud. This Eggplant, how you doing? But yeah, it is that. If you're a new campaigner, I don't think you should have like a full fucking book ready and done unless you're just committed to see it. Like you really just want people to see it. It doesn't matter what kind of money you make on it, who sees it, whatever. But otherwise, I'd say like the 5-page thing that I would maybe double that, 10 pages, at least penciled, in some stage of completion. have it written out, have decided on what you're going to do for it. I've seen like the nails in the coffin being like extending your book length, which is just like in every which way multiplying all your cost for yourself. Higher page count, which means you have to pay your artist more, your writer more if you're paying them, multiple artists more. Plus you have to, your print costs go up, your weight for your shipping goes up. Like there's all sorts of ways you compounded your expenses doing that. As a backer, I would love it if like you're not looking to like give us the most for our money, like giving yourself the littlest to survive on. I'd rather you thrive. I'd rather you have more room to like keep your vision going, keep your books going, increase your production, put more out there for the people to see. But I was surprised. I happened to see Lord Crackhead stream on this weekend, and they touched upon one of the campaign pages in the comments where somebody basically, I'm kind of on your boy Zack's side of this thing. Let me find the right one here. I have multiple tabs open here. It's on the Grand Bazaar, and I kind of miss this. There's every now and then I go back and I look at some of the comments. I wonder about these projects that I backed. I have a few ready to go to kind of look at, because there's kind of a ripple effect. There's an echo that happens, like where one campaign suddenly gets focused on. It's like, what's going on? And then all the other campaigns that are way past due get focused on too. And there's a point, when it becomes years, like multiple years. Yeah, I think like people kind of have a reason to be suspect on what you're doing. But yeah, it was, let's see, this comment here by AD Mager, launching another new campaign before you delivered on this one. Get fucked. This is kind of really where you sort of trip the landmine. You've made this personal. Telling someone to get fucked and expect them to take that well. This is also his campaign page. You're leaving shit kind of on his doorstep at his business. Like you're kind of, anyone who comes to this campaign is going to see what you did here. Then you follow up. I'm not backing another IGG from anyone. That's kind of throwing flack everywhere, but okay, get it. You've hit your breaking point. This is kind of, I think, an area of grievances. If this was more pointed of just like, come on, why? Like you had a way of communicating kind of the same sort of thing without it getting personal. Come on, man, why are you launching more stuff before this is done? What's the timetable? There's all sorts of stuff. I think he's gone over in his videos, but it's so like hard to find out exactly where it is, because his video titles are never really about his campaigns. It's just about whatever's on the mind of Zack. This is his ADHD is kind of like a thing that works for him and against him. It cuts both ways. But it's like, at the front end or the back end of a video, like in 10 seconds, he just goes over like his projects he has available, when it's going to be done, timeframes, stuff like that. So it's really hard to like actually know exactly where you're going to get this information. Again, communication, having a streamlined communication with your backers, with your community at hand. But yeah, pretty much, I've had customer service experience, and there's a lot of shit you got to swallow when it comes to, you want people's money, you want their backing, you want their support, you want their continued support. Most places will tell you like it's the worst thing to lose somebody you already got on the hook. Like that was the hardest step, was getting them like in your pockets essentially. So yeah, to lose them is like a huge cost. But there comes a point where like if somebody's going to tell you, like they're making this personal, get fucked. The shit is ridiculous. And you kind of also, you're giving away your bargaining power as a backer by saying, I'll never do it again. It's kind of like, okay, well, I have really zero reason to want to keep you. And you're showing me that despite what I've communicated out, or like there was no in between. I didn't go through the whole list of things. Did you ever try leveling just like a less incendiary message to him before you reach to the point of get fucked on it? Like it's kind of I'm curious to know, was there any in between on this? I think he's been upfront on like, okay, reworking it. This is all on me. You know, there's a number of these messages you go through where people are looking for their money back, and he pretty much gives it to them, no problem. There's another campaign here where somebody says it's late. This should have been already done. And he says, I'll refund you, plus I'll send you the book. Like there's the whole way, like it seems like he would approach you and kind of give what you want and give you your money back. But you know, like here we see needs to update his shipping address. There's other people who will ask for a refund. He'll say, email me, like over and over again, email me directly, email you, all this stuff. Like he's willing to take care of you if that's your issue. But it's kind of like you sort of brought it on yourself with the get fucked. I think that's really the ultimate thing. There should be a level of professionalism on the customer as well. I don't think just because you dropped $25 on a thing, how much shit would you eat for $25? And it's an open invitation moving forward that if anyone else feels slighted enough that you'll just take it on the chin and eat it and, you know, bend over backwards for them. I think there's a level of give and take. There's not only just a customer, business provider relationship. There's a human element that just shouldn't really get lost. And this is kind of opening up to a no holds barred situation. And I think, you know, he kind of handles it in a classy way. Now there's 26 thumbs up, 1 thumb down. So, you know, I realize I'm kind of in a minority opinion. People are pissed off. Their shit's late. I get it. Again, there's a way you could have aired this grievance, made yourself known. You can go through the whole comment list here and see a number of people who are frustrated with the lateness of this and the lack of updates or having no time frame to go off of. But yeah, it's kind of like I wouldn't want to deal with somebody who's just going to like turn to this, you know, especially if this is the first communication you take with me. But who knows, you know, but this is kind of like is it worth it to you? Your boy, he's got, I think it was like 2 million on that campaign raised money. He's been making good investments. Like this is a point in your life. You just don't want to deal with a person that's going to be like this to you. It's just like, yeah, you know, it's done. It's done. We're done. We're not in business. But yeah, you're not being sent the book any longer. Listen, not everyone's going to be fucking zen after you tell them to get fucked. So ultimately, I mean, that's kind of the take on it. However, there is another thing I would kind of look at. I was kind of surprised at, even more so than this, because it's sort of like it's cutting the other way. It's kind of against a boy, Zack here. But there's a lot of pressures going on with this. You know, he's hurting cats in a way. Creatives aren't necessarily the most on time. You know, there's a number of life incidences that get in the way. But let's see. I'm going to check back on you guys here. I have to focus on these. I only have one screen, so I can't keep up with all of it. Do you know how many projects Kevin Smith was left on? Even the Batman and Robin All-Stars is incomplete. Oh, wow. I didn't even know that. I thought it eventually got complete. I just didn't care about it. I saw the first issue of that, and I was just like, yeah, not for me. It seemed a little overdone. And then by the time it was like issue 3 or 4, it was like months delay, and then like between 5 or 6, multiple months. And just no promise of it being ended. There's a comment in the video section where just like, eventually the backers reach a point of apathy. Your fans reach a point of apathy where they don't fucking care. They're done with the story could be finished. I don't even care to see it. I don't care to see the end of All-Star Batman and Robin. You know, but I just knew it wasn't for me after the first issue, about the first issue, and that was it. I can forgive a late thing over a pile of shit. You know, but yeah, there is like like one of the effects, like I said, is like you start to see it on one project and it just ripples out, like it continues onward, where other projects all of a sudden, like I got a slew of updates, campaign updates on books I backed all of a sudden. I feel like it's like it became a timely thing. It was like, once again, we're hitting this bump in the road, and it's being talked about. And all of a sudden, people like going back through their histories and wondering, where is this actually at? So let's see here. I kind of had these set up in an order. find the next one. I think it's Knife Hand is the one where I'm just like, what is this? So this was one of the projects that got brought up after the Jawbreakers thing, and it's also in the Jawbreakers universe. This is kind of like if you have grand ambitions, I think it's your boy Zack's ADHD running away from him. If you have grand ambitions, you should kind of have everything scheduled out, ready to go. He's had enough money in the bank now that he could sort of plan these things out, plot these things out. This could have just been a regular output in the Jawbreakers universe, which is seemingly what a lot of people are looking for. But in this comment section here, this is one that I was just like, whoa, Rich, who are you talking to here? Hoping for an update that you haven't got this campaign since you started 2 more. That's pretty just like a nothing statement, nowhere near where we were at before. But this response here, are you actually, in all caps, worried? I forgot that I had this campaign neurologically. How would that even happen? This is kind of like a very snarky take. I did 3 updates last month, and the standard in crowdfunding is 1 update per month, and it's in the middle of this month. Again, I'm not a background, so I don't know. Like, this could have just gone to this guy's like junk mail or something. But man, this is just like about all you had to do is like have a copy paste file ready to go, or just check the updates, expecting this kind of fulfillment. I was just kind of surprised at this take. This is just like a really, I would be in the thumbs down section of this one, to be honest. I'm just like, whoa, tone it down. I kind of wonder if this isn't like something where he feels like he's talking to one of his friends. Like, it sounds like there's a banter that goes on between, like, I guess the Marine Corps people, and it's really hardcore. Like, you really kind of dig into it, and so it's just like getting at this other thing. But as far as like a business goes, like, I was just like, wow, that's a really bad take for a guy who's like, again professional about stuff. Anybody who, like, here we go, please refund my campaign contribution done. Like, I mean, he just kind of like, you take these hits on the chin. You don't have to get into the meat and potatoes of it all. You want your money back? Okay, get your money back. You might be facing expenses. You back this X date. We're still waiting. This is from the campaign ended July 22nd, 2021. So, you've had, a number of months go by. We're coming up on almost a year. Things change. Look at the economy, everything else. Or you're just not interested anymore. Again, an apathy thing. A number of these factors can just go into like sinking a campaign and everything. And there are a number of other ones I looked through. Rock and Roll Ninja, Mind Your Business, Is This You? They all, Rock and Roll Ninja has some stuff like Wondering Where It's At. And like on that video I showed, it seems like he has that for June of this year. Like I said, I'm not too worried about him getting shit done, but there's a number of these campaigns, and I'm going to bring up, I backed some of these, not all of them. But they're ones that definitely like I memorized because they're big and I was excited for them. And I just kind of held off on one, waiting for it to kind of get closer to get a point of like in demand fulfillment. That's the golden place to be. You hit your marks for getting the campaign funded so you can go to print. Now you have some extra you can sell off and you make some money off of the work you've actually done, more than what you initially would have had numbers for. Because there's kind of a cycle. Like, once people see your shit out in the ecosystem, there's books, your books are done and people can look at them, then it creates a new excitement for it. And somebody can just throw money at it, and there it is. Deathsworn, this is one of the ones I really dig. Carl O'Rowe, love his art. If we look at the updates here, though, last one is from November 30th, 2021. Not looking at throwing anyone under the fucking bus here, but let's just take assessment, okay? This has been nearly 6 months, or just about 6 months, of no updates. And you see the timing of these comments, right? 20 hours ago, 3 days ago, 4 days ago. When was all this stuff like kind of in the ether, kind of kicking up again? over and over again. People just looking for updates, looking for things. Now, it seems to me, please refund the contribution. It's like you're looking at this. why is this getting kind of service and there's no lip service, to just a general campaign update, let people know where you're at, what's going on. Again, this is one of those ones. This finished in 2019. This is one of those ones I'm looking at. I'm like, well, how much money has changed? Like, how much has the rates changed on your project since you finished it, in terms of what you budgeted for yourself, and what you can actually complete and pay for. But it was one I thought from this last update, because it was like November. I kind of forgot about it for a while, and I'm like, oh, what's he doing? And he seems like both him and Zack maybe suffer from this like George Lucasing effect, where it's just like, oh, I can do better. I can really make this shine. I don't want to. Maybe it's my only thing to hit print, or this is the only book I'm going to do of it. I wanted it to be this way, a certain way, and it's back to formula. It's redoing a page. This is fucking phenomenal art. This is great looking art. Well, put it in my hands. Let me throw money at you. Let me throw money at you. Stop holding back. Stop retooling it. Hit print. Get the help you need. I'll take this in black and white. This is fucking great black and white artwork. But you sell it on color, then complete it in color. But that was one that just stuck out in my mind. Then one of the ones I actually got an update on was Shinobi Sasquatch here. Let me pull that up, which is just in a desolate state. It pains me because I was a really big supporter of this, and not just like what I backed, but like what I would promoted, or like what I put out, and you just kind of feel like, what the fuck? And this is one where this update does not inspire much confidence. So Cal is looking at making a PDF of what's done and sending that out. Okay, that's something. He's waiting on the colors to finish. Who cares? This is kind of just like, does it cost you anything extra to send it out at this point? You're not refunding anybody anything. That's set in stone. At least give the people who've paid something to look at. And then we have Rob Willis, notoriously slow on the Graveyard Shift campaign. He was in the what was it, the add-on book, and 20 pages, and it just got pushed month after month after month, later and later, and eventually John Malin just hired a whole new artist and took it off his hands. And honestly, I had some trouble telling which. There were certain pages I knew just from Rob Willis's Twitter feed that he had done, and which ones he hadn't. Like it was actually a pretty good blend of art styles that I couldn't tell like where one jumped off and one jumped on exactly. I had to like kind of look at it a couple times over to kind of pull out which ones were which. But yeah, he needs help with layouts. Part of the thing that shot this group in the foot was extending the page count. One of their stretch goals was basically doubling the number of pages they were going to do, which is very kind of foolhardy, I guess. Head in the clouds, look at it. So this was an update just sent out yesterday. And then, slew of comments from just that. It's just like a mismanagement on his part. I know Rob Willis is like a complicated personal life, but at the end of the day, people who threw money at you, they don't really care about like what happened with you. This is going on now, about 3 years. There was talk of this being finished in 2020, I think. There was probably multiple times it was said to be, it's gonna get done, and yet you see your artist cranking out covers and things for other people, but no progress on your pages, and apparently all the money is tied up. It's all gone or something. Like there's no hiring outside help or anything. It's just hoping that the planets align and everyone does the part of the project they were supposed to do. And it sucks because this looked really good. I really actually think the art is, I was sold on the art. It is part of like what got me into the project. No telling when it's going to get done. And then somebody else who's been good on the whole fulfillment front is Clint Stoker. And this is a project that I've been waiting for, dying for, because I fucking love the Charlie Snowden's art. And I thought like it was kind of in the bag. Like this is somebody you contracted out, you decided on page rates, and he was going to do it. I understand there was like an issue with like Charlie's wife's health, and I, give him some leeway on that. Plan for things not go your way in the first place. But that's definitely a major life occurrence where you can definitely see somebody kind of telling you, hey, fuck off. I'm not working, as long as like, I don't know how much time I have left with, the number one person in my life. Like that's a whole different thing. But, Clint's been pretty good on the whole communication front. And he's also been stay positive, thanks for your patience. It'll be worth the wait. Give time frames, let people know what's done, where you're at, what's in the update here. It's just like, last few pages of Fatal being finished now. We're 4 pages left to complete. Exact numbers, right? This is like so close to the finish. Knock it out. Let's do it. In the last update, so this is April 12th. So this is just hours ago. And then we see March 2nd was the last update a month ago. And, Charlie's taking on another job. And I'm like, well, where was the relative priority on this? Did something change? Did something get added? Other than the health thing, like what's going on? I think people, like, your personality will sell a lot. We saw Charlie Snowden's on like Fragtober and stuff like that. Like, he's a personable guy. Like, if you just say, listen, medical costs was way more than what we expected. All this, I had to take on extra work to make ends meet. People throw you a little bit of leeway. I would throw somebody some leeway on that. But again, I'm a sucker for good art, so I'm waiting for it to be done. But we're seeing progress made. We're seeing page counts, set out there. There's kind of a promise to it being done. And again, Clint, look at this. Look at how many fucking answers he's giving out here. It's like everybody gets an answer back to it. And even where people say they need a refund, and he says, yeah, you're done. Lets them know there's going to be a delay. Kill the follow-up. Let them know, this stuff doesn't happen immediately. There's processing involved. But hit me up, if you don't hear back from your bank or whatever in a week, whatever. After a certain time, like, this should be kind of second nature, knowing what the follow-up to people are going to be doing. But this is one that I'm excited to get, and looks like it's going to be done soon. Look at this, $100,000 in the bank. Good for them. Good for their team. That kind of hits on all the case for your boy Zack. Don't tell people to just get fucked and expect to be treated nicely after the fact. You have all the leeway in the world. I'm telling you, just from like customer service standpoint, somebody who's been in that fucking shit spot where factors outside of your control delay something, you fucked up and you delay something. You get ahead of it by just letting somebody know it's going to be late. There's a delay. There's convenient excuses you can do. There's owning up to what you fucked up on and getting ahead of it. But like the one thing, even companies I've worked for where it's like it's all about customer satisfaction, like they literally have in their whole credo, satisfaction guaranteed. If you're not satisfied, all your money back. Like literally giving into like the worst kinds of personalities that take advantage of the stuff. The 30-minute words free delivery. And if that's on your business and you said it, you kind of have to own up to it, even if it's 30 minutes and 1 second. That was like the Spider-Man 2 thing. Like he busted his ass to get everything there. Still failed on their mission. So it's kind of like you kind of have to eat it on that. You have to eat it on that. It sucks, but you have to eat it. But owning up to it, I mean, at least you kind of cut away the negative feelings of somebody else. Like it's not as bad as it usually would be if you don't say anything at all and expect them to just kind of be cool with it. And in other news, I kind of had a couple things pulled up here, sort of lighter topics to get in on here. There's the upcoming Love and Thunder or whatever thing with Natalie Portman. I actually had like crush on ever since the prequels, the Star Wars prequels. I was younger than her. It's totally cool. It's okay. But yeah, I kind of thought, she's hot. I still think she's hot. But yeah, this is going to be the new Thor Love and Thunder. I guess that they're leaning at having Chris Hemsworth throw in with the Guardians of the Galaxy crew, which I think is probably going to be the best return and what's going to be current and ongoing Marvel. He does have some like kind of comedic ability to himself, and it seems like it's something he wants to do. However, Thor being relegated to kind of like some just nobody is not that great. This one, we have Thor is Thor. Not really a fan of like the costume look from what I can see here, but then we have Natalie Portman's Mighty Thor. And I'm kind of curious, are they going to do some kind of digital effects enhancement to her, like where she's suddenly in like a 6-foot frame and it's all digital effects kind of thing? Because it's hard to sell like an imposing figure with what her actual size and everything is. Or is there going to be another actress that kind of swaps in for it? Like Jane Foster, I think in the books was supposed to be like a cancer patient who would turn into like this kind of Amazonian figure of sorts. And there's a follow-up to this. Like it gets worse. That was bad. It gets worse. Wherein we have your boy Vaughn here put this out, I think earlier today. But we have like these set of Marvel Legends. So it's Mighty Thor. Jane Foster is transformed into Thor here. And let me see if I can King Valkyrie. This is Tessa, what's her name? Tessa Thompson. Valkyrie from the movies. King Valkyrie. I guess, we're playing with the gender norms now. Disney pretty much kind of rolled out the carpet on this. And then we have Ravager Thor. So he's becoming a Ravager. He's becoming part of the Guardians of the Galaxy crew, and just looking like a regular bro. He's got jeans and a vest, and just looking like his usual self. Not anything special. You wouldn't know he was a Norse god, Asgardian figure from this at all. I get it's not enough they had to fail in comics. They got to do it in the movies too. By all means, go out and do it. Do it. So I don't know who's still here, who's still watching. I'll kind of hang around for a bit. I'll throw the link in the chat if anyone wants to hop on, chit chat, whatever. That's the link to the show. But yeah, I think like your boy Zach is getting a lot of flack. I do think like he has sinned, but his sins are not what people are making them out to be. He's fulfilled a ton of projects. I've been kind of left kind of with a lackluster feel after some of them. The pandemic one was one that I was just like, from your sales pitch, it didn't really take much more than that. And I don't know when there's going to be follow-up to it. I know it kind of ties into Battle to Know. Battle to Know, at least I really love Kelsey Shannon's art on that. His like brush style work that he did for it looked really freaking good. But that's another one too. I mean, they're just like 10-minute reads, if that. Like you just flip through it, you're done. And it's just like, okay, well, when's the next one? And we have no promise too on that. There seemed to be a greater thing he was working on that. I forget what universe he was throwing that in, but they would be tied together and they kind of a common theme. And for some people, I guess it hit too close to home. It's too close to the real issues. And I guess they look for escapism to be in their books and stuff. But yeah, overall, I feel like he's committed pretty well. I'll go back to that video of his where we can look at all the projects he's done. Because he is like very particular about following his success plus other people's success and where he's at on his projects and stuff. But yeah, Iron Sights, that was a pretty easy one to do. God King, a number of people said they didn't like it. I actually really liked it. Other than spoilers, killed the whole team pretty much, most of the team. I kind of liked it in the fact that for these projects where you're looking at 6 months, a year, 2 years between them being finished, a lot of shit went down, a lot of shit happened, and there was sort of a backstory that wasn't explained, but you felt like he could go into it. He's doing sort of like a Tarantino approach to the storytelling on it, where it's not in true time, or it's not start, beginning, middle, end sort of thing that he's doing with it. It's kind of out of order, it's out of sync. Like, I was a little lost in Lost Souls on just what was going on, but I liked his idea of like there's a main plot driving the team forward, and then there'd be like character focus issues. But it's kind of like, well, if the character's dead, you can't really do those character focus issues. I felt like there was comic book backdoors he had to some of the characters, like Knife Hands, being in this like mystical ninja cult or whatever. There was a way maybe that he could revive or be in a ghostly form, have like a second life of sorts. But I guess in Grand Bazaar, he like retooled that, and that's kind of the major reason for the delay, is that there's a lot of him, again, doing the George Lucas thing. I'm not happy with the first story, or I had this totally new idea that's going to rock the world. It's totally greater than what I already imagined. So how about we just scrap it and start over? $4.99. That's one I'm curious, because it was one I held off on, and I got it in the Is This You Narzac 3-pack. And I actually kind of liked it, but I remember it being kind of changed to something wildly different than what he sold it on. I think, again, in terms of scales of sin, that's a greater sin than me. You saw people on this project as it looked in like picture A, and you gave them something wildly different in picture B. But I think anyone who said, this was not the project I backed, this was not the one I initially backed, I think he was pretty amiable and worked with those people. Like, okay, here's your money back. I don't know if he did the whole like, here's your money back plus you get the book. That to me is like, just like, wow, like, you talk about like, that's the thing where some people like you make it more of a name for yourself by eating it. But again, people who didn't take it personally, who didn't bring it into his personal level, there's a notion of when it comes to, I remember reading about security guys and bouncers. There's a point where it's like they're just doing their job, like you're getting out of hand. They kind of have to tell you, calm it down. You need to go or something like that. And there's a point where you make it personal, and like then it's kind of like all bets are off, and I'm going to use the full latitude of like what I can do to you in this moment, because I have to take this as something beyond just you just being a little out of control. It's now personal. Like there's an investment beyond in terms of like what's going on here. Hellpriest statue. I don't even remember that one too well. I kind of do, but I don't. A number of these are just kind of redos, repackagings of things in terms of his campaigns. Again, that's where your back catalog can work for you. Mind Your Business. That was a weird one, just running it for 1 week. And he's already, it's kind of like that immediate turnaround thing. Like he's like, make sure your addresses are in point or done right, because this thing's going to roll out. It's going to be sent out, which is crazy good. I guess it'll be on future things. I didn't even know it kind of existed till the end. And again, in the comments, somebody's like, you leave this shit open for at least like 6 months. You have time to like go and like find funds for it if you initially don't have the funds for it right then and there. There might be 5 or 10 projects out at a time that you want to back, and then you only back the one you can at that time. So taking a sip there. All right, this might be a short one. I'm missing my usual cohorts who might give me feedback and everything else, but I guess I'll just go ahead, give the thanks to El Gargo for being here, being a part of the conversation. Oh shit, who we got? Gargo, how's it going, man?
It's going good. How about you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay.
What's up? Where you at?
I'm at work. I work at this bar in Las Vegas.
Cool, man. You can just stream while you work.
Yeah.
Nice. So
I
I mean,
mean,
go on.
huh? No, people do video calls here all the time, so
Why
no
not you?
different. Yeah.
So, do you have any thoughts? How do you take this whole thing here? Are you even? Is this even on your radar at all?
Well, it's a debatable thing. I mean, projects behind deadline, like I said before, I've heard the history of Kevin Smith, and he's now more famous than ever. There was a Batman and Robin All-Star book that was a big project done by Frank Miller and Jim Lee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude,
Oh,
that was like a major thing for DC at the time.
yeah.
And I feel like that one sunk me. Like, I kind of like the idea that they were going with on that. The All-Star line being basically, it's like it's the quintessential form, but it's not tied to any continuity you don't want. You can kind of use what you want in backstory or lose it. But ultimately, it's a representation of those characters, because they had a All-Star Superman as well with Grant Morrison and Frank Quietly on the book. That one had some delays too, but it got finished. But the All-Star Batman and Robin was the one I remember catching the most flack. One for the infamous "I'm the goddamn Batman" like panel,
Yeah.
and like just how much more like of a sociopath like Bruce Wayne was in that book. Like it was kind of like a much more psychotic relationship he had with Jason Todd, or was it Jason Todd or
No,
Dick Grayson? Dick Grayson, yeah. And it was just kind of like, yeah, it was like I kind of get what he was going for, but it didn't like translate well. It was like a little too edgy, I think, for Batman to go on. But I heard people really love the Green Lantern issue, because he just like coats himself in yellow paint and just starts wailing on them or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, and it's just like he had like a Batman solution for it. But yeah, it was one that was just mired in delays. But a number of the books back then, like that's kind of part of what I feel like killed the mojo of the 2000s run of a number of like major books. Like the Ultimates was notoriously late, but people were willing to wait on that one just because the art was great. They liked the story. It was kind of like before the Marvel movies ever got done. And in fact, I believe Samuel L. Jackson got the part of Nick Fury from the Ultimates book, because there's literally like Mark Miller and Brian Hitch. I don't know whether they collaboratively did it or what, but like they stylized Nick Fury after Samuel L. Jackson. And they even say, like, if they were cast in movies, who would be their like actor counterpart? And they said, oh, Samuel L. Jackson for sure. And so like his lawyers had something to say. It's like, Marvel's got money, and this is a major thing, and they're just like, how about we give you, like, if this goes to movies, you're Nick Fury, you get the role. And that was kind of the deal they made. Like it's kind of funny like how that all tied together. But like it was before the Avengers movies, it was like the movie edition of like that book. Like it was modernized. It was
before Iron Man.
Yeah, and I think it was completely like they didn't have Robert Downey Jr. in mind or something. But yeah, Robert Downey Jr. earned every fucking penny he got for doing Iron Man and being a part of it, because he pretty much made Iron Man happen, like made it work. He was a nothing hero. Like he was B-list, C-list at best. Like there were, if you looked at the Marvel posters at the time, like where it's like every Marvel character you can think of, front and center was like X-Men and Spider-Man, mainly Wolverine and Spider-Man, like somewhere front and center, like directly center. After the Iron Man and Avengers movies, like the Avengers and Iron Man were like in that center. Like you usually had Wolverine and Spider-Man, but they were like on the flanks of it or something. Like they were no longer the major draw anymore. And it's like he completely he injected new blood into it that transformed the entire thing. I don't think Marvel ever expected to have that success with those characters. And his personification of Tony Stark and Iron Man, plus just the formula they kind of gave them, because how many Marvel movies have basically followed that same kind of energy or plot or whatever since then.
You can't also disregard John Favreau, who basically wrote and came up with the cinema concepts for Iron Man to work in kind of the real world setup. And what's his name? Oh, Stan Winston, who made the Iron Man suit. Stan Winston, to make the suit really convincing and make it feel real, even though there's some CG parts.
Yeah, I forget who the artist was who kind of modeled Iron Man that way. I think he's kind of served as inspiration for that too, because the old Iron Man was just basically like if you took like gold leaf and painted it over the muscles of a guy and then added on like gauntlets and a helmet, like that's essentially what the Iron Man costume was for so long. And I forget who it was. It was like some European guy. I should probably look it up, but I hate doing this while I'm running a show.
But so we don't sound completely ignorant. I mean, I just know it was made at the Stan Winston studio. You know,
I know. Yeah, he did the special effects, and like he nailed it on that too.
Yeah, but I don't know the artist himself who actually designed the cinema suit.
Well, I don't know that he was directly responsible, but I feel like he influenced it. He definitely styled it in the comics where it was made to look like armor over the body rather than just like basically a muscle suit plus like some shoulder armor and helmet or whatever. Like it was like fitting parts, looked mechanical, and like it was shaped but still like over top an actual body rather than like merged to the body kind of thing.
Yeah.
Christ.
It's kind of like how they redesigned Hulk the first time in the Edward Norton movie. I really like that Hulk design. Even though that was over CG, but the body build was more of a linebacker. He had this kind of crazy hairstyle where it looked like he was a pissed off emo guy. But it kind of worked out in a way. I like it. I liked it better than the Avengers, the Mark Ruffalo Hulk.
I kind of dig at least Mark Ruffalo's handling, like the part where he's with Black Widow, getting cornered and then left with her, and like he's able to kind of use the Hulk as like a bargaining chip and like a way of just like steering the conversation. Just like, well, it's not always up to me how this goes and all that stuff. And like he messes with her a bit, but he was like apologetic about it. But I kind of dig like he worked with that. It was like another element, like somebody who lived as the Hulk as he would have, using it to his advantage rather than just like stay away. I'm a dangerous whatever. Like, kind of working the dynamic of the character itself. Dude, I can't fucking find it. I wish I knew off the top of my head. Let's see. Ratmans?
All right.
Let me see if that's the right name. You looking it up?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm thinking it might be this dude Ratman I'm seeing. Sorry for anyone who's watching. You can go at 1.5 speed or whatever. Come back. The main part of my show, the case for your boy Zach, is at the front end of this. Here, let me see. Iron Man. And I'm not sure it was like necessarily a run known for its story. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry. We're just gonna leave that hanging. I don't want to leave too much dead air trying to find that out. But I remember it being like kind of like an evolution of the design that they did for it. So. Oh,
this is funny. 97, they casted Nicolas Cage as Tony Stark. And 98, they casted Tom Cruise. And then, in October of 1999, they approached Quentin Tarantino to direct and write the film.
That's just so. I mean, I thought the whole. I mean, it was almost real there for a second. Like Nicolas Cage as Superman and Tim Burton as the director. I was like, I just cannot see that happening. Like, how do we go from the Richard Donner, Christopher Reeves Superman to that? As much as I kind of hate the Bryan Singer, what's his name? I'm forgetting, but the Superman Returns movie, Brandon Routh version of it, because it was almost a straight up clone of the first Superman movie. Like, I mean, same plot, almost there's direct scenes and lines ripped from like the first movie that they reuse. Like it was more than just homage. It was copycat in a number of ways. But at least I felt like it was in the spirit of those movies. I could not see a Tim Burton, Nicolas Cage version of Superman being in the same vein of like the Richard Donner, Christopher Reeve series of movies.
Here it is. It's Addie. Okay, this is weird. They got I guess they used the comic book reference of the Iron Man suit from a series. Addie, what is it? Sorry for interrupting you.
No worries. That was kind of what I was
Addie Granev designed the Mark III with illustrator Paul Saunders.
Yeah. That's sounding like it to me. Let me pull up some
stuff
here.
Well,
but yeah, that was kind of what I remember seeing kind of circulating for a while there. Let me get into Google Images of that. So yeah, like he was the dude that basically it's kind of like if you could take medieval armor, make it kind of robotic, everything like it was like plates, interlocking designs, stuff like that. Whereas a lot of like the classic Iron Man stuff was like clunky, either super clunky looking, like the very first Iron Man suit, and then like I said, like metal wrapped around skin, like if you took aluminum foil or a gold leaf or something and just directly applied it on top of muscle. Whereas this is like, keeping like the heroic figure, but it's like plate armor on top of it. It was kind of a redesign that really modernized it, made it look sleek, sexy, I guess you could say. That transferred over to like the movie version. I don't think they did a 1-for-1, but it was heavily influenced by like what this was. I feel like that they drew on that.
Yeah, that was also John Favreau. Tony Stark originally lived in New York, and he decided to put him in.
Yeah, he wanted something different because every fucking hero was New York. Like he was just like, yeah, that's like a little too much. Let's do something completely different. Yeah, I mean, John Favreau.
It's kind of hard too with production when you got like the Punisher, Daredevil, and Spider-Man all in New York. Same thing with the X-Men. And it's like, when did they cross over? When did we see them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess they kind of put the Avengers Tower there eventually in New York City. So they eventually tie it into that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, man. I don't know. Anything else on your mind? Anything current going on?
Well, I just got a Dane Gang last night. Came in a beautiful place.
Say what?
Dane Gang by Billy Nunes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hey, wait a minute. Yeah, it is chilly. Yeah.
Oh, shit, here we go.
You know what's crazier is in the bar, it's fucking hot as fuck. Dude, I think they took the arrow back here.
Boom. I'm gonna mute that for a while. Are you good? All right, you're back on. Sorry, I muted you because I didn't know if you wanted that out there.
It doesn't matter.
So, you got any like bar privileges there? Like, you able to like pour yourself a drink? Look, it kind of looks slow over there, man. Like,
I got a free drink at the end of the night and get a employee meal.
all right, nice, man. Get them
And then-
benefits. Well,
Get the game.
What you heard, Mike.
well, dude, I think I'm kind of out of content, so thanks for hopping on, being along for me on the ride for this, and I'll check in with everybody another time. I'll be off tomorrow from my usual time. That's why I did it tonight. And yeah, take it easy, everybody. Thank you,
All right.
thank you, El Gargoyle.